Well, hello. How is everyone doing? Oh, goodness, I did not put anything on this darn chair. It's still squeaking. Hello, guys, how are you? Let me go on and pop out this chat. Let folks know we are indeed live and in color. How's everybody doing? All right, let me come on, move you over just a little bit. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Oh, gosh, I'm super orange today. Anyway, it's the lighting. So sorry. Welcome, everybody, to the chat. Thank you so much for coming. I had to print a few more things off. A lot of this is hot off the presses. So today, we're not going to be live very long right now. We're going to come back live a little bit later on for some meditation. And then we're going to be doing some further discussion on this tomorrow on Patreon. But today, Jupiter is conjunct Pluto. Like, it's been, like, moving in this direction. Later on tonight, it actually hits the actual conjunct period. This is the first time in 2020. Am I crooked? Hold on. Hold on, guys. Oh, good gravy. Weird. All right. I don't mean to, like, make you guys go on a plane trip here. Anyway, this is the first time during this year that we will be conjunct, that Pluto and Jupiter are going to be conjunct the first of 3 times this year. All right, first of 3 times this year. This is the time where they'll both be direct, and let me just make sure I don't want to be wrong when I make this statement. I believe that, hold on, blah, 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 moving direct with both, and on June 30th, and June 30th, they're going to form their second conjunction. With both of them moving in retrograde. And then the final one in November is going to be after both Jupiter and Pluto move stationary direct. They'll form their final conjunction on November 12th. So this is literally, we're watching the opening of a long-term, this is like a, 7-month portal, energetic portal that's opening at this moment in time. Okay? This is, I get tired of saying the same, like, this is significant, this is meaningful, this is significant, this is meaningful. Everything that's happening is significant and meaningful in 2020. Today, 4/4/2020 reduces down to 444. Look up that angel number. That is an angel number of honesty. That is an angel number of integrity. That is angel number of moving in your truth. That is an angel number of your truth being revealed. And on a global scale, that is an angel number of global truth being revealed or beginning to be revealed. Some things that we've held to be completely just like factual, or we didn't want to believe were factual, or we didn't want to believe about ourselves and about the greater good or the greater group. We're going to be seeing some factual things come out. Some truths revealed we were not probably prepared for. Let's just kind of be honest about that. And this is also personally a time for us that are workers, bearers, transmitters of light, of the light. that this is like today of any day, today of any day of this entire year, I'm going to implore you, I'm going to beg of you, basically, that you really take today and seek out what is your personal truth. What is your personal meaning? What is your personal purpose? What are you to be doing to help the greater good today? That's what today is all about. That's what today, if I was going to give you one thing that you needed to know, I'm going to give you this one thing. This one thing. Discover, embrace, and begin to fully integrate your purpose, who you are, your truth. Today of all days, of any day, of every day, that's what, if I could say anything to you, that's the one thing I'm going to say to you, is to do that, is to grab onto that. Now, I was watching Leo King went live last night on his Instagram. And I want to, give a shout out to that. Not that he needs my shout out, for goodness sakes, but I want to give some reference to that. And he was saying some things that we've been saying here, but that anyone that's been saying that is part of this light work and part of the group that's been helping to really illuminate this and help you guys get through this time period and really begin to walk in your light. And that those of us that have already begun, or that have been doing our shadow work, that have been really looking and introspectively at ourselves, that are really like, hey, this is who I am and this is what I'm about and this is my purpose and my goals and my plans for the reason why I'm here, and remembering all that. Those of us that have already been doing this and begun to activate it, we're doing good. We're doing okay throughout this time. Why? Because we've already understood that what we're in is like, the simulation. What we're in is we're in a reality that is reality simply because of the dimensional constrictions that we're underneath, that we've chosen to come here and have this experience, that we've chosen to come here and walk out this purpose, that we've chosen to come here and learn and grow, ascend, and do. If you're just starting it, it might be a little bit tougher for you. That's okay. We all got to start somewhere. That's okay. Acknowledging it is the first step. And those that are just wanting to stick their heads in the sand and not see any of it, you're going to have a rough time. You're going to have a rough time. Yes, I'm seeing rebirth. Yes, rebirth. We've been talking about this rebirth. We've been talking about Phoenix rising from the ashes. We've been talking about becoming who you truly are, embracing it and integrating it into your third dimensional being. We've been talking a lot about that lately. And can I just say, this is let's do it. This is activation moment. This is activation time. Now I'm just going to do a little plug right here on Patreon. You see that underneath right here, this patreon.com Heart of Inspiration. You can join for as little as $1. Okay, a month, as little as $1, and I'm revamping Patreon right now as we speak. Tomorrow, and I put that on my community post, and we'll talk about it a little bit here, but tomorrow at 3 p.m., at this same time tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, we're going to talk about Lightworker activation in you. Why is it important? How do we do this? The DNA activation that happens as a result of becoming an activated light worker and going through your awakening process, and how we can begin to use that, and how we should be beginning to use that in this world right now. So it's a really important private Patreon broadcast. It's going to be over Zoom. I'll be posting that link for Patreons only shortly. It's really important for you to be there. So you tell your friends, everybody, okay? I want to get into We'll talk a little bit about more about that shortly. Hello to everybody in the chat. So sorry, I'm not really looking, but I want to get into the chart for today. Now, this is the chart as from the moon's perspective. Okay, this is from the moon's perspective. All right. All right. Drive careful, Sharon. Also, if you've been when's your birthday, Fit Goddess? Tomorrow? If you've been seeing this, if you've been seeing 444 a lot lately, I'll bring that up. We'll talk about that in a minute. But you're right where you need to be. All right. Let's just talk about a few things here. The moon in Leo today is significant. The moon moves into Virgo, I believe, a little bit later on today, and we will talk about that. 2100 hours, 9 at wow. Let me slow down. The moon moves into Virgo at the same time that this conjunction of Pluto and Jupiter is absolute. Now, if that ain't signs in the heavens, and that's not an energetic hello, wake up, good morning, I don't know what is. At that point, we'll be having almost a complete trine of the moon, Uranus, Jupiter, and Pluto, all in earth signs. Y'all better strap up. Strap on, babies. Listen, look at this here. We also have Mercury and Neptune conjunct in Pisces. Sextiling. In agreement with kissing cousin too. What is that? So what does this mean? Some people will say Mercury in Pisces, a Mercury Neptune conjunction in Pisces is a lot of grand illusions. Right? That's what a lot of people will say. I'm going to flip that around though from a Lightworker perspective. From a Lightworker and a Starseed perspective, I'm going to flip that around to say not necessarily grand illusions, but the peeling away of the grand illusion. And that's because of the aspects to the other planets. What have we been going through with Uranus and Taurus? Everything getting upheaved. Woof. Everything getting ripped apart, torn up. Technology coming in. Us reassessing our values. What is it we truly value? Are reassessing the necessity for our creature comforts. Are reassessing the need to go do this and go do that and be here and be so busy. A lot of us are learning that we can live off of less or live with less. Not just live off of less, but live with less than what we have currently been living with and what we have been currently living on. The technology that we have available to us is helping me do things like come to you this way. It's going to help me have a whole Zoom room available, video conferencing room available for us to have a discussion about Lightworker activation. What does that mean as far as your DNA changing? What does that mean? What does that mean as far as your perspective in this third dimensional world? What does that mean as far as how do we now operate multidimensionally on a consistent and regular basis? How are we going to be dual citizens? Right? And truly allow that integration to happen. I couldn't have done this how many years ago? right? For some of us, this is literally changing. I'm changing how I've been eating. I'm actually doing more walking. I'm actually drinking more water. Because why? I'm shut in to an extent, right? I can't just go and sit down in a restaurant with everybody. It's changing how we interact, and it's forcing us to have a great amount of alone time that maybe some of us didn't necessarily want, but it's what's needed. We can redeem this time. So while there is this grand illusion happening with Neptune and Mercury, like what's being sent out, what's being put out over the airwaves, over the technology, over the airwaves, right? What's being put over the airwaves, there's a lot of illusion being put out there, a lot of not complete correct information, a lot of disinformation, but there's also a lot of very correct and very blowing it up, right? Blowing the top off of it up. Information, there's people trying to keep information from getting to you so that they can present their own, what they want, their propaganda, if you will. Right? So there's a lot of that going on. However, if you are in tune, growing in tune, awakening, there's a lot of people beginning to awaken as well. It's happening. You know, different groups are calling this great awakening a great awakening for different purposes. But when I look at the basis of it all, this is a cultural shift. Every 13 years, Jupiter visits a different sign, right? Stays there for about a year. And during that time, there are cultural shifts that occur. Cultural shifts that occur with Jupiter in that sign. The last time Jupiter and Pluto were conjunct in Capricorn was 1771. What is that correct? 1771. Look it up if I'm 1771. That was during that, and during that time there was the Russian plague. Go look it up if you don't believe me. The Russian plague occurred in 1771, the last time Jupiter and Pluto met up in Capricorn. Pluto takes a lot longer to get around the sun, that's why. That's why it took so long. Okay? This is a call for us to be more assertive in our own independence and our own transformation. This is a period for us to work together, though, while also asserting our independence, to work together for the greater good. What is also showing me that this is definitely the case is this little bad boy right here, Mars and Saturn in Aquarius. Saturn in Aquarius, we talked about this a week or two ago. Saturn in Aquarius is all about a change in ideologies, base beliefs, governance over that base beliefs, structure of ideology, and groupthink in general. The group must change how it relates to one another. The group must now elevate itself to see things from a higher perspective. Why is that? Because we've got this squaring Uranus in Taurus. Hello, somebody. Now, Saturn's going to go back, do a retrograde in May. Saturn's going to retrograde in May and go back into Capricorn again. Give us a chance to assimilate some of these changes before it comes back again. couple months later or so, into Aquarius. Jupiter and Pluto are going to be going retrograde. Jupiter moves faster, so it's going to go back quicker. But it will meet up again with Pluto once Pluto goes into retrograde in June. And then they'll both become stationary direct once Pluto goes back to being stationary direct, because Jupiter's going to go back further into Capricorn than Pluto will. It literally, if you guys were to see and you can look this up, if you guys were to see how Jupiter's going to go, it's going to go retrograde, like about this far, stationary direct, not quite that far, but stationary direct, and then come forward. So it's not going to go quite that far, okay, guys, just so we know. However, Pluto then is going to go, and let's choose this color. Pluto is going to go mer. It's a much less of a curve, but they're going to meet up 3 times. So basically, we're going to have 3 opportunities to shift. Overdrive, overdrive, overdrive. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, by the time this up here happens, the moon is going to be in Virgo. Like just barely in Virgo. So it'll be able to trine. Grand trine of the earth energies. This means this is grand trining of a foundational change in who we are. A foundational change of who we are. Also a foundational shift in the group. This is a time for all the pieces to begin to come together, to work together for the greater good. This is also a time we're going to see people putting forth a lot of selfishness, greed. Those things are going to hinder the change. If you're finding people that are fighting you on these things, if you're finding people that are fighting you on when you put truth out, and you're saying, hey guys, you know what? I know you're hearing all this from the television, and you're hearing the propaganda. Let's prop up somebody's personal freaking gain, somebody's personal agenda. Prop up the agenda. Propaganda. Y'all got to understand the words that are coming out of these people's mouths. Y'all got to understand what's being stated. So if you're finding people that are fighting you on this, as you put forward, well, wait a minute, what about this here? Well, wait a minute, what about this here? Well, wait a minute, what about this here? If you're finding people fight that, they're still in the dark. They're still not ready. You have to understand that there are entities that are based on greed and based on power that are trying to hold this down. I am not saying that people getting sick is false. What I am saying is the broadcasting of this is causing and creating a climate of fear and creating a climate of let's give up all of our civil liberties so that people can then exercise more power over us. The key right now is to understand that your personal power outweighs and outshines the darkness. Your personal power and your ascension into your personal power, your ascension into your personal truth, your ascension into your personal light as an individual that's part of the collective, which is what we're doing right now. This is a restructure. This is a restructure. How do we be a part of the individual, an individual yet part of the collective, and all come together collectively to dispel the darkness and raise the vibrational set point of this earth? This is no coincidence, honey. There are no such things as coincidences, only synchronicities. There is no coincidence that all of these are going to happen at the same time that we got this trine going on. And what is a trine? What is this trine here? So understand that this moon here in Virgo is in opposition and moving into position in opposition to the sun. As the sun moves, then we'll come into opposition that full moon, right? That full moon on April the 7th. What is that significance? As we are seeing more of how we feel and how others feel, we're seeing into the depths of our souls. It is reflecting unto us not only who we are, Aries sun, as a strong individual, but it's also illuminating to us our shadows. It is illuminating to us where we need to clean up our act. It's also illuminating to us our personal entity, our personal light. We're seeing it, and how Virgo, being health, being mother, being Gaia, being Mother Mary, being a birther, being for the greater good, how can we now put our plan into action and move, elevate, move into a new birth, into a new being? We're able to release that energy at the full moon, right? To assist the greater good. What was the purpose of the Virgin Mary? The purpose of the Virgin Mary was to birth the Christ consciousness, or the Christ, into earth. What was that purpose? That purpose was to save, ostensibly, save the earth, right? To provide a savior, a messianic message, to provide a way, a door to getting to a personal relationship with your God, right? With the universe, with the collective, you to have a personal relationship, the door, the portal being open. That is what that consciousness means. This is a portal opening so the personal Aries can get rebirthed. The person can get reconnected. Phoenix rising from the ashes, being reconnected with its true self, your true consciousness. This is a waking of truth in consciousness. I'm really, guys, I hope I'm not going too fast. It is critical that we consider self-development. Let me tell you all something. There's a verse in the Bible that says every man must work out their salvation with fear and trembling. It doesn't say that you go to church and figure out how to work out your salvation with the group. It doesn't say you got to go to your pastor to find that out. It doesn't say you got to go to the apostle or the prophet or the teacher to find that out. It says you are to work it out with your own, you are to work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. What is salvation? Salvation is merely the reunification of you as an individual with God, with the universe, with your creators. It is you awakening to the knowledge, to the light, to the realization that you are a divine being of the divine. It is self-development. So I'm imploring all light workers, everyone under the sound of my voice, and everyone that's going to hopefully watch this replay, that instead of just sitting at home being sorrowful and fearful, that instead you say, wait a minute, this is an opportunity for me to fully step into who I am. Take that next full step. That doesn't mean you have to do what I'm doing. That doesn't mean you have to be on YouTube. That doesn't mean you have to be on Instagram. That doesn't mean you have to, do some like grand broadcast or something like that. But you need to figure out and listen and hear what it is that you're supposed to be doing. How are you shining your light? What is your method? What is your plan for shining your light? What does this mean for you? Maybe shining your light at your job is what you're supposed to be doing. Maybe shining your light in your neighborhood is what you're supposed to be doing. Maybe you're supposed to be doing what I'm doing. Maybe you are. Maybe you're supposed to do a podcast or a blog or a this or a that, right? Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what that looks like for you. What I can say though is you know. You just got to tap into it. But you know, and that's what this revelatory time is. Mercury with Neptune, you know, me being a water sign, I happen to love that energy. We haven't even touched on my girlfriend Venus down here, off in the cutting in the corner, just entering Gemini. Transmission of love, transmission of peace, transmission of self-development and reflection. Again, I'm going to refer to the Leo King when I was watching his video, his Instagram. And he was saying that 8 years ago, the last time Venus was in Gemini, and during the Venus retrograde in Gemini, in fact, was when he really launched himself into, you know, doing his work, doing his astrological forecast on a daily basis, you know, horoscopes and such and so on, and really moved into being a celebrity astrologer and so on. That's when it launched. This is a perfect time for the spiritual, the love, the light, those endeavors to be launched. And this portal is illuminating that for you. I love Mercury and Neptune together. Why? Because if you take the opportunity to do it, you can hear and you can visualize. Pisceans are dreamers. Pisceans are visionaries. Pisceans see into the depths of one's soul. Beautiful energy. Why not hear it instead of bypassing it? Yeah, okay, it might look illusionary to you right now, but god dang it, it ain't. What you can't fathom in your third dimensional being at this moment will manifest when you tap in to your higher dimensional self and bring it on down. When you walk through the portal that's been busted wide open. Right? I've been talking about personal transformation and then the expansion that Pluto and Jupiter bring together. Pluto invites a deepening, a growth, a digging into your roots to find out what truly matters to you. And what truly matters, period. Don't allow yourself, though, to fall into jealousy. Don't allow yourself to fall into revenge or anything like that, or greed as your motivation for moving into different business ventures, be they spiritual based or not. This is actually a good conjunction, and this is actually a good transit, especially with the other planetary transits, to birth businesses. Even in the midst of all of this, don't forget you got Uranus down there in Taurus, able to assist in the use of technology in order to do it. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that we are not dealing with some of the difficulties that were launched during the Saturn-Pluto cycle being started. We are dealing with that. Saturn health, of course, Saturn with Saturn and Mars conjunction, health. We already talked about the fact that in 1771, the last time Pluto and Jupiter met up in Capricorn was the Russian plague. But every time Jupiter comes into a different sign, it's a cultural change. Jupiter's still going to be hanging out in Capricorn because, like I said, it goes into retrograde, stationary, direct, and comes back direct before it moves out into Aquarius. So we still have time for us to really evaluate, reevaluate, and handle our achievements. Achieve what we're meant to achieve on a foundational basis. Plant seeds, water them so we can achieve. Stop denying it. Stop walking away from it. Stop saying it can't happen. Stop saying I'm not supposed to do this. Stop. 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 Because you can. You are. Yes, it's a great time to begin to question everything that you've been taught from day one and open yourself up to the truth. Understand that those that are acting in extreme, ruthless, self-righteous manners or obsessive, the energy is not good for you right now. The energy is not good for you. If people are acting, reacting, or have been acting, reacting, and doing things that are immoral, troublesome, unethical, trying to hurt the greater globe, the consciousness, those actions are about to be put on display. Some of y'all might not like the truth that comes as a result of it. But I'm going to wait for y'all to come back around and be like, dang, Lise, you just might have been right. Some of y'all going to be very surprised. Very, very surprised. Because Pluto is the exposer. Don't forget that. That's the other energy of Pluto and Scorpio. The exposer. Get down to the get down to the root. CIA, FBI, KGB, MI6, NCIS. Y'all gonna get down to the root of it. That's the energy that's here on a global governmental scale. And what I mean by that is not only just governments, I do mean also religious hierarchies or religious leadership. Okay? Government at any and all level. Corporations that have been running things at any and all levels. All of that's going to be exposed. Some of y'all going to be surprised. Some of us will not. Okay? Your dirt is coming to the light. You can't stop it from coming. You can't stop it from being exposed. You've been able to hide it and run things from behind the scenes for too long. And now, here comes the light. Here comes the sun. You can run, but you can't hide. You can run, but you can't hide. So don't be surprised. And I realize that while right now, economically, things look like you're probably thinking, girl, bye. How am I supposed to open up a business? How am I supposed to have transformation? How am I supposed to have abundance? How am I supposed to have prosperity? How am I supposed to do all this with the economy how it is now? The economy itself is in the midst of a transformation, guys. The global economies are in the midst of a transformation. Your personal economy and the global economy are in the midst of transformation right now. Literally. What you see on the other side of this, what seeds you plant right now, if you're planting the seeds and beginning to do what you're called to do and helping people on an ethical, moral, and other level, and not being selfish and self-centered, That, beloved, that is what's going to help propel you as we're moving through this portal time, as we're moving through this shift. Because again, we're going to see this conjunction 3 times this year. So let's see what happens come June 30th. Come June 30th, the sun will be in Cancer in opposition. The nodes should have moved into Gemini and Sagittarius. June 30th, we will have just have passed a new moon. 2, 4, 6. You'll be probably the moon, without looking at the chart, the moon will probably be in Scorpio, sextiling it, that conjunction. Venus will be hanging out in Gemini for a while. So we're going to see even more personal power. We're going to see even more personal revelation happening. And by the time we get down to November, with the good down, ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. That's going to be the completion of this cycle. And we will have begun to see a more complete view of how this cultural change really comes into effect. So this is just the grand opening. But this is a critical time for you to move into it without hesitation. Without hesitation. Now I'm going to add something in here. I want you all to... I think I saved this. Good Lord, woman. You know, sometimes I don't always do exactly what I'm supposed to do when I'm supposed to do it, believe it or not. You guys, I don't want you to forget. I want you guys to head over to Patreon when you get the opportunity to, please. I'm going to put this here because we are going to be doing our first Patreon only broadcast. I'm going to start doing those twice a month. That's going to be a little bit more of this in-depth concepts that I want to talk about, but I can't really talk about here. I choose not to talk about here, I should say that. Not that I can't, but I choose not to because I want to be able to chat with you guys on a more, on a deeper basis. So we're going to be talking about Lightworker activation tomorrow, Sunday, at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, and it's going to be a Zoom. So go to patreon.com/Heart of Inspiration. Join. You could join for as little as $1 and join in with us on the conversation. We're going to be talking about becoming an activated, what really happens. I want to get into not only just the DNA and that what happens as you become activated as a light worker, but then I also want to talk about what we should be doing, how we should be operating as light workers during this current time. Okay, so we're going to be doing some very practical efforts there as we all work collectively to raise the consciousness. Okay? Tonight, Venus will hug the Pleiades. Yes, the 7 sisters. All at the same time. Ryu, if you can look that up for me. I believe that's going to happen at the same time, about 9-something p.m. Central, to when Jupiter and Pluto actually come conjunct. Okay? I want you guys to understand that too. About the same time Jupiter, but look that up for me real quick. If you don't mind. Let me go back to the chat. How we doing? Good deal. You guys have any questions on what we've been talking about today? I didn't want to be on here too long right now because I myself am doing a whole lot of work today. I myself will be doing a lot of work today. Yeah, we might not be able to see it. We'll feel the energy. What time is that happening, Ryu? Can you look that up real quick before we sign off? I have a lot of stuff today to do. I'm working on my spiritual endeavors. About to really bust out this website. And then later on tonight, we're going to meet up later on tonight to do meditation. There's like group meditations that are happening about 9:30 p.m. Central tonight, I think. But I wanted to get in early and let's get some preparatory stuff done. And so we're going to meet together tonight. What time did I say? 8? Y'all, I don't remember what time I said we was fixing to meet. Yep. 8 p.m. Central tonight. We'll get back together, y'all, tonight at 8 p.m. Central and do some meditations. That's very important, you know, to assist us as we're moving into this time period, as we're moving into this portal. Okay? Any questions? I want to be sure I gather up the questions first before we sign off. Oh, you're on your phone. Okay. Any questions, guys? I really appreciate y'all being here. We're going to put this on the replay, of course. It's powerful, guys. I'm telling y'all, it is absolutely, absolutely powerful. Thank you, Janet. You guys, and forward that link to whomever you believe will be, you know, blessed by that. We want this to be a bit, we want folks to be there and to be able to join. I'll put the, join in on the discussion on Patreon. I'll put that in, put the link up to the meeting a little bit later. Crazy Blonde Virgo, that's what we've been talking about. The whole portal that Jupiter conjunct Pluto opens up for us. This is a spiritual ascension. I'm kind of terming this kind of Lightworker activation or Lightworker achievement portal. Really, that's what this is. This is a Lightworker activation portal. Get on into your stuff. Get on into what you're supposed to be doing. 444 portal. Exactly. Thank you. In living in your truth. I also want to say, anybody that has worked with me, please consider emailing me, you know, kind of a little recommendation. I am going to be putting them on my website. So if you've worked with me personally and been blessed and it's assisted you, please email me at admin@heartofinspiration.net. No problem, honey. You can go back and watch the beginning. Admin@heartofinspiration.net. And, you know, just give me a little testimonials, please. I would really, really appreciate it. We're going to be launching that shortly. Okay? Okay. All right. Let me get on out of here, guys. If we don't have any other questions. Do we have any other questions before I sign off? Guys, please consider, thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. Thank you for helping getting this information out. And you know what? I want to thank you guys for being the light workers that you are and being willing to stand in your truth. It takes courage. And I appreciate you. Okay, we do have a question. Can you explain how this Jupiter-Pluto energy and Mercury in Pisces will show in the house? Which house are you looking for, Miss Mystique? Will show in which house? In the Piscean house or which house? I should have turned on the closed captions. Gosh darn it. Miss Mystique, if you can help me out there, I'll be more than happy to answer that question. Oh, my head hurts. My crown hurts bad now. I'm going to have to go do some meditation. The theme it plays. Yeah, which house, honey? Okay, so are you asking? Thank you, Miss Janet. Shoot me an email, honey. Give me a little testimonial. Okay, so that this is from the moon's perspective. This is a moon chart. This is a moon chart. So I guess I don't the houses that are on that natal chart. Wow. Let me put it to you like this. Mercury and Neptune conjunct in Pisces. That is 12th house energy. 12th house energy is about a number of things, not the least of which clearing out and identifying your karma. That can also be the house of mental illness and delusion a little bit. Oh wow, I'm not gonna go through all that, Miss Mystique. Let me just kind of. I know that's what Dolo does, but let me see what we can do here quickly. I tend to talk about things much more from a global perspective, a mundane perspective, how it's going to affect the collective. So each individual, each of us collectively, we're all right now underneath an Aries sun. We're in Aries season, right? So that's a personal identity, who you are at your core, right? Personal identity. So thank you, Ryu. Yes, the 12th house deals with the subconscious. It deals with the intuitive. It deals with the ethereal, the esoteric. It deals with karma. It deals with mental, like either stability or instability. It deals with this. To me, the 12th house really shows us that we're living in a simulation. Right? So how do we all interact with said simulation? From that perspective, the ruler of the house is in the house. Mercury comes in wanting to have a little bit of a discussion because it's done skirted all the way around, right? The zodiac. It went into Aquarius, got a little bit more global information, got a little bit more collective information. What are we supposed to do for the greater good? And then came back and met up with Neptune. The first time it was in Pisces, it felt like everybody was a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs and everybody was a little high. Like nobody was really seeing what was supposed to be seen. We were all high. Now this time, with how it's sextiling Jupiter and Pluto and sextiling Uranus, okay, it's got earth energy on both sides to ground it. It's got global earth energy to ground it. Like it's got like, what do I want to call it? Cardinal earth energy for the planting of the seed. And it's got fixed earth energy for this is our creature comfort, how it's going to grow. So it can now grab a hold of both and put it together and integrate it so that we can see esoterically so we can see spiritually how we're supposed to transform and how we're supposed to utilize this kind of revolution of what does it really mean to be in creature comfort. How am I really supposed to have technology in my life? What revolution am I supposed to be going through of evolution so that I can become a part of the collective and integrate myself in a greater way? That's how I see those two interacting. Crazy Blonde Virgo, the minute you start hoping that your exes get their karma, that's the minute you're digging a second grave for yourself. We should only just say, now I'm going to tell you something, because you're putting that negative energy out. You're digging two graves for yourself. When you start wishing karma on people, all I simply say is, my hope for you is just that you get that, you just, whatever it is that is in your future is in your future. I will bless and release, because it's not for me to wish karma on nobody else. Remember, I just said that if we have motivations behind this that include revenge, selfishness, or anything like that, it don't go well for you. That's been the problem. It don't go well. Now, I don't mean that, that's mama talking. That's auntie talking right now. Hey, Miss Bishop. I had another question here. What does Virgo mean if you're a Virgo? Virgo moon, it means that the moon entering into your sun sign, into any sun sign, your emotions, how you're feeling deep down inside, are going to be much more illuminated. You might get a little bit more emotional. The moon rules your emotions. The moon rules the energy you put into motion. I'm a moon child. I know. Your sun is basically who you are on a basic level. Like, that's who you are. So I have a Cancer sun and an Aries moon. So on a base level, who I am is a Cancer. Go look it up. My emotions, though, can run extremely hot with that Aries moon. And I'm a Capricorn ascendant, so I present as a Capricorn. I'm a triple cardinal. Now, it might, because of my Cancerian sun and a few other placements, it might take me a little longer to erupt, but when I do, y'all better watch out. And we'll go through all of that later, another time. I'm very, very thankful for you guys. Is that the reason I haven't been able to sleep, because of this energy coming in? Potentially, Sag Fire. Most of us haven't been able to sleep. Most of us haven't been able to sleep. You're a Pisces. What degree is your okay, listen. Thank you for saying that. You're a Pisces. I would love to see your chart. Let me tell you something. If you haven't already ascertained what your higher self has been telling you to do, or who you really are in that level, from a higher self perspective, that's how you use this. This is a time for you to change and move into your reality. Your reality. I would imagine that you've probably had dreams about some things going on in the future, or you've not really understood what those dreams really meant, but you've probably had some pretty prophetic and pretty lucid dreams lately. Or visions if you're a meditator. It's time for you to really walk in your gifts, my dear. I've been saying this to everybody. This isn't just a global thing that I've just been saying. I don't nothing else to say to nobody. I would definitely be I would definitely be using this time. Understand that the things that you thought were delusions and illusions, Miss Mystique, are not. Like, find the truth in it. It may have seemed like it was way out of whack and crazy, but I need you to find the truth in it, because there's truth in there. But you're not going to find that unless you go on and get into that state where you allow your higher consciousness to raise up. Yeah, but Travis, you waking up, baby. If your moon is in Virgo, then your feelings and emotions and everything are going to be much more heavily illuminated. If you're a Virgo moon, let me tell you something. Virgo moons and Virgo suns, this full moon is a very powerful moon for you to release and to set in motion, set your energy in motion for your manifestation. Thank you, Travis. North Node and Moon in Libra ready for a change. The charts are 29.95, sweetie. Yes, you need to tap into your writing tablet. Talent, yes, you do. Meditate, meditate, meditate. More than pray, pray, pray. Meditate and then find out what you're supposed to be praying for. Your Pluto is in Virgo. I'd have to remember the degrees, Lovey. I'd have to remember the degrees. I'm gonna have to, I'm not looking at your chart right now. Yeah, meditate, 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 guys. Prayer a is you talking more. Meditation is you listening. And it's allowing your higher self to talk. Remember that prayer is from a third dimensional standpoint. That's why the whole concept of praying in tongues is so important, because it's the language of angels that your mind cannot understand, therefore your ego cannot interfere with it. So it's really super important that we become adept at listening to what our higher self is saying, and then releasing the and you could still speak it in English, but releasing your tongue to speak it. Okay? Releasing your tongue to speak it. All right, guys. Guys, my head is just killing me right now. I need to actually go meditate. I'm not gonna lie. Do we have any other questions right now before I let you all go? Because I still have some work to do. Because I'm going to see y'all in another few hours, like another 5 hours. I'm going to give you guys a minute. Thank you guys again for being here. I so very much appreciate it. We're going to meditate tonight at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, and then join me tomorrow. Okay? Tell your friends, your neighbors, your loved ones. All right, guys. Thank you guys so very, very much. I appreciate each and every one of you. All right? Yeah, I gotta go. Okay. All right. Peace, love, blessings, and joy, guys. Be unto you today, tomorrow, and for all eternity. I love you guys. Thank you very much, Ryu. I love you guys a lot. And I will see you in a few hours, okay? Namaste.